Good morning all, and today I'm going to be looking at this. It's the Aukey 15 watt desk lamp. So this is described as a dimmable eye care folding LED desk lamp, 15 watts. It has 4 lighting modes, a 5-level dimmer, touch sensitive control panel, multi-functionality. This is model LT-T1 and it's from Aukey.com. Now this unit has been very generously supplied by Aukey.com for review, so let's take a look inside the box and see what we have. And we've got a user manual and we've got the lamp itself. Let's take that out. Now I have been using this, so I've removed all the wrappings that come with it, and then underneath here we have a very solid heavy metal base and the power supply. Now assembling this lamp is quite straightforward. You simply place this on the base and then you screw this cap on the underside. I can't do that one-handed, so I'll just do that right now. And this is the result. It's a lamp on a heavy base. Now if I bring the lamp arm up so that it's horizontal, you can see that it's quite a large thing, which is why I'm doing this outside. It does angle as a sort of conventional angle poise lamp does. So if I bend that down and that up, I can create a lamp with a considerable angle in it. It also rotates on its base, so I can swivel it round 180 degrees so that it can face either left or right. And that's pretty much the range of movement that the lamp has. Apart from the head, which rotates either to one side or to the other, or just sits flat with the light facing downwards. Now in terms of size, the height of the lamp bar above the base is approximately 18 inches, I would say, when it's upright like that. And my estimate is that when it's down at this lower level, it's probably about 15 inches above the table. So let's take this lamp indoors, plug it in, switch it on, and see what it does. Now I've taken the lamp off its base just for the moment so that I can move it around a little bit more easily. So here's the control panel. Let's just peel off the protective covering from that. And there are 4 settings. We've got reading, study, relax and sleep. And the way this works is that reading gives you the warm white LEDs and the cool white LEDs, so it's actually the brightest of the settings. Study is the cool white only, relax is the warm white only, and sleep is also warm white only, but it has a lower range of brightness settings. The brightness settings are set on these up and down buttons, and in each of these 4 modes there are 5 brightness levels, and when you change the brightness levels, the modes remember the brightness level for each mode so that you can tailor it to what you want. This is the on-off button. This also lights up red, and this, if you press it, causes the on-off button to start flashing, and it will switch itself off after 60 minutes of inactivity. Now on this bottom part of the lamp there is a 5-volt USB output, so that's useful for charging mobile phones or similar things. That provides up to 1 amp. And then on the back is the socket here, 2.1mm socket, which takes the 12-volt input from the power supply. So let's plug in the power and see what happens. Now the supplied power block has an output of 12 volts at 2 amps. I've only ever used this once because I've been running this lamp off my 12-volt solar power system, and because the solar power system can drift up to 14.4 volts, I was quite interested to see whether this 12-volt needs to be very precisely regulated. It doesn't appear to be. This lamp seems to work perfectly happily off anywhere from 12 volts to 14.4 volts, which is the range I've tested it at so far. But let's plug this in and check the functionality of the control panel. So I've plugged in the power, and now the on-off light lights up red. If I touch that, the light comes on. I'm going to try and show it reflected in the plastic here. And currently I'm in relax mode. Now let's go through them all. Reading puts the warm and the cool white LEDs on. I now have 5 brightness levels I can switch between by touching the little up and down buttons. Study switches the light to cool white LEDs only. Again, 5 brightness levels. And the microcontroller inside here remembers the brightness level for each of these presets. Relax switches the light to a warm white color, so it's only using the warm white LEDs. And sleep also uses the warm white LEDs only, but the range of 5 brightnesses is set at a lower level so that you can lower the lamp brightness right down in sleep. It's set a bit higher in relax mode. Now while the lamp's on, if you press the 60-minute button, then the on-off light starts flashing, and this thing will turn itself off after 60 minutes so that you can use it to fall asleep, I guess. Now, as I say, I was quite keen to use this on my solar power system. My battery bank outside is currently reading 13.2 volts. The sun's kind of half out. So this is the power coming from those batteries. So let's plug that in and switch the lamp on. And that all works fine. And as I say, I've been using this now for a couple of weeks, and that voltage has gone up to 14.4 volts, which is the peak voltage of the charge controllers, and this lamp is entirely happy with that range of about 12 volts to 14.4. I've had no problems with it, either with the lamp LEDs themselves or with the 5 volt output from the buck converter that's going to be inside here, taking 12 volts down to 5 volts. Now I thought I'd just take this apart for a bit of fun. There's not a lot to see. There's a couple of connectors here on a white and red wire. There's also a black and red wire. So I guess one of these connectors is the cool white LEDs and one is the warm white. There's a little slot running down the top of the plastic of the head, which is a vent. And then on the head itself, this has a metal back. The LEDs are obviously inside here. There's some silicon rubber under here, so I probably can't go a lot further. And then this is the front of the LED panel. I think that's probably about as far as I dare go with the head part. And in the arm section, there are just wires and this big spring. I'm beginning to wish I hadn't taken that bit off now. But I felt it was important to see the electronics. So here's the top board with the USB output connector, the input power connector, the wires that run off to the LEDs, and also that big spring, the other side of that big spring. So that's just keeping tension on the arm to keep the arm supported. Now I might as well take out this top board so that we can have a look at the bottom board, which is going to be the board with the capacitive touch sensor circuitry on it. So let's do that now. So with the power board moved off to the side, we can now see the switch board, and it's also the microcontroller board by the look of it. Now there are some LEDs here which illuminate the 4 preset buttons. There's also an LED down there on the on-off switch. This cable runs up to the other board. Now this microcontroller here, I would imagine, is the type that has capacitive touch sensor functionality built in so that it can work the touch switches and also memorize the settings and control all the LEDs. So that's the main intelligence of the unit just there. So this microcontroller is it was focused, CSM 216-S, H0043614, whatever that means. Now this power control chip is, what is it, a ZT or a 2T7184S, and then there are those other numbers on there. Now a capacitor, C20 something, has obviously been moved. I'm not sure what the reason is for that, but I'm sure it's a good one. And this 3-terminal device here looks like it's a 78L05 3-terminal voltage regulator. And just a final check to make sure that it's all working before I put the cover back on. So the lights come on there if I touch the on-off switch. Yeah, the desk lamp is working fine. Good. So the desk lamp is back together now, and I've dimmed the lights. I've closed the curtains to try and lower the light level in here a little. I'm just going to run through these presets again. So let's switch on first. Okay, so the reading one is a mixture of warm white and cool white. The study is the cool white only. Relax gives you a warm white, and sleep gives you the lower value warm white, or at least the range of brightness levels. I'm touching the up and down buttons now, is wider possibly on the sleep setting than it is on the relax setting. That doesn't go quite so low, but the colour change is noticeable when you go from study to reading. Good, so the lamp's all working again. And one of the reasons I was quite keen to review this lamp was so that I could film under it, so that I could make evening videos. And you can see that it does produce quite a nice light. It doesn't produce harsh shadows. The shadows are quite soft because it's a long line of LEDs. I can switch between different colours to see which look the most natural under this artificial light. And I have already filmed one video under this light. It was the RGB mains powered ceiling light, and I'll put a link to that in the description so you can see how well that looked. So here's the desk lamp on Amazon.co.uk. This is the Aukey Dimmable LED desk lamp, multifunction eye care table lamp, and this is £39.99, free delivery. So here's the Aukey desk lamp now permanently mounted on my desk. I'm using the USB output actually to drive this inductive charging pad so I can charge my mobile phone. The lamp's happily running now off 13.8 volts. No problems with that. Switch it on, switch it off. Everything's working fine. Nice addition to my desk. Cheerio.